We have this thing that has been systemic since slavery.
In West Africa particularly, the concept was the extended family. Even within the system of slavery, there were usually black males who would take on the role of the father figure. There was never quite enough help. So black families struggled, and quite often this led to the breakup of the family. The 1960s as a civil rights movement. Moving forward, then you have this real large influx of drugs, illegal drugs, into the black community.
I saw my neighborhood deteriorate as a result of drug use. All of a sudden, heroin was everywhere. And then I saw it deteriorate again in the mid-'80s, when all of a sudden crack cocaine was everywhere.
It had an enormous impact on the breakup of the black family.
You're talking about wiping out mind power, thinking power. It took the light out of the black revolutionist movement.
Because we didn't address it then, we find ourselves in a situation where the problem is much, much worse. This is not a criticism of single mothers who are struggling to raise their children, but they're up against a lot.
We have a situation in our communities where the babies raise babies, and they're usually mothers.
Almost 70% of African American children are born to a single female-headed household.
In some ways, things are worse because we've been placated to believe that things are better, and they really aren't.
You have a never-ending cycle of young black children who are growing up, going into jail, having kids who are growing up, going into jail.
African Americans are near to having 1 million people locked up on a given day.
One of the reasons why our people are in such dire straits economically is because they have not had father figures. I came to realize that one of the reasons I was there is because it was a lack of having a father.
My dad died when I was 3.
My wife had a miscarriage, and then essentially was the equivalent of stillbirth.
I didn't have a father figure growing up in my life. My dad he went to jail when I was 6.
Fortunately, absent parenting here, the father figure, I wanted to spread my wings, and I spread them in a negative way.
I think my highest calling, higher than my profession, anything, was being a husband and a father, and to have a failed marriage, it was a kind of devastating blow.
A father's responsibility is to show through demonstration what you should be.
You know, I don't think some people realize how important a father figure could be to a child. And I think someone needs to tell them.